Saxon Algebra 1/2, lesson 119. We're on our second lesson of the last week. Crossing that off. I'm just going to cross these off and work off this list down here so it's easy for you to read. So we're halfway through the last week. Lesson 119 is called Metric Volume Conversions. Now you'll remember yesterday, or whenever you watched it, last time we talked about English or American unit conversions, okay? And when you do American or English units for volume, remember when we're talking about volumes, we're talking about cubes. So you can actually imagine a cube. And we were talking about cubic feet, and we were talking about cubic inches. So if it's a cubic foot, it would be a foot wide, a foot tall, and a foot deep. A cubic inch would be, excuse me, I'm sorry. Whew, sorry. An inch wide, an inch tall, and an inch deep, right? Every dimension would be an inch. That's what these things are. Now, we also have what we might call volume units, which are things like quarts, pints, a cup, right? These are ways that we typically measure liquids, right? Like this. But these do not equal, EQ, feet cubed or inch cubed or any of our other lengths, right? A quart would not fit into, well, it might fit into, but it wouldn't fit perfectly, is what I mean to say. These volume measures don't line up with our cubic length measures, okay? These are measures of length that we're using as cubes. These are measures of volume. They don't sync, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. There's no sync between these measures and these measures, which is something we all just think is normal. But the metric people killed it. They totally killed it. So if you take one of theirs, these are measures of length. Let me just write that down. And you know that. You know that a foot or an inch is a measure of length. They take their measures of length. We'll take the one that's in between those two. I'm not drawing to scale perfectly, but I'm trying to be reasonable. This is a cubic centimeter, right? It's a centimeter times a centimeter times a centimeter. It looks a little short. Pretend with me. This equals, oh my gosh, it's so cool, you guys. This equals 1 milliliter, which is, this is a unit of length, and this is a unit of volume. So they figured out how to do, in metric land, they figured out to do what we can't do. They can take a, let's draw it as like a little beaker. This is 1 milliliter of water as measured by volume, and it fits perfectly into a cubic centimeter container. They matched up their cubic units of length with their volumes so that there's a sync between them. Sync, I mean like, you know, sync your phone. S-Y-N-C-H. They fit together. In the US, we don't have this lovely phenomenon. So this blows my mind. I hope it blows yours a little bit, but it makes our metric volume conversions different. It seems harder at first, but with a little bit of help, you're gonna see, oh no, this is actually wicked easy. What you need to know is that 1 cubic centimeter equals 1 milliliter. We're going to use that. And then the other version of it is that, oh, I have to get it right. One liter equals 1,000 milliliters. That's going to help us too. Okay, this is volume to volume, but this tells us how many little ones are in a big one. All right, so we're going to keep this handy, and we're going to dive into the problems. The problems will look very similar to what we did yesterday. Let's try the first one. And there are how many? 1, 2, 3. Example 119.1. Convert. Oh, it's a big number, but you know that doesn't hurt us one little bit. 1,451,600 milliliters to liters. Okay, so what we're doing in this one is we're not using a cubic measure of length. We're using 2 measures of volume. Okay, so all we need to know is this. There's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. Okay, let me just make sure you guys are with me on this. A cubic centimeter is roughly the size of a sugar cube, if you've ever seen those in real life. It's pretty small. Kind of like a 2x2 Lego. You know the kind of Lego that looks like this? And of course it's thick too. Roughly that size, but sugar cubes are almost perfectly cubic centimeters, okay? So that gives you an idea of what that looks like. The milliliter is the amount that you would pour in there, right? So it's like as much a liquid as would fill a Lego if it was a container. A liter, okay, this you know because you know those big bottles of pop that your parents probably buy for parties, you know, the great big ones. Those are 2 liters, okay? So 1 liter is half of one of those great big bottles of pop. And they're smaller bottles, they're liters. But everybody knows those great big 2-liter bottles. They sell them for like $1 each at Target, and they're super cheap. Okay, so that just helps you visualize. 1,000 of these Legos full of water equals 1 liter. That's what we need to know right now because we need to go from milliliters to liters. So we're going to be able to do that with 1 unit conversion. We want to go from milliliters to liters. It's written with a lowercase m and an uppercase L, typically. At least that's the way I always do it, because otherwise the L looks like a 1 and that's confusing. Okay, we're starting with milliliters, so let's put milliliters on the bottom. We want liters, they'll be on the top. That will cancel. Cool. Which is bigger, a liter or a milliliter? Okay, this is the Lego size. This is half of the great big pop size, so this is bigger. And I told you there are 1,000 milliliters in the liter. We can also get it from the word because it's milliliter. And this mill means 1,000th. So we know there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. Okay, that's it. We're now in liters. That's what we want. All we have to do is smush these numbers, and it's so easy because look, 1,451,600 divided by 1,000. Okay, now that could be the way we leave the answer, but look how easy. Dividing by 1,000 means bump the decimal place smaller as many times as there are zeros. 1, 2, 3. So the decimal's there. 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 1,451.6 liters. Guess what? That's the right answer. So that's another genius aspect of the metric system is everything is done by powers of 10. So we're just sliding decimals around to convert from one thing to the next. Yay. 119.2. Convert 40 cubic meters to cubic centimeters. Okay, so this time, whoops, this was a unit of volume. This was a unit of volume. And we used this conversion between the two volumes to do that. This, meters cubed, is length. And centimeters is also length. So this time we're not going to need any of our volume units. We're just going from one kind of length to another kind of length. Okay, we can do that. That's cool. Let's put this over a 1. And John's not telling us how many units to use. So let's think about it. All right, we need to go from meters to centimeters. Okay, that's pretty easy, right? We know that there are 100 centimeters in a meter because of that word cent. Like pennies. And we can remember, okay, a centimeter, there's like 2.5 centimeters in an inch, so they're smaller than an inch. It's roughly about that long. And then meters are big. Most dads are 2 meters tall. So that gives you a rough idea. A meter's kind of like a yard. All right, so we want to have meters on the bottom, centimeters on the top. But when I go to cancel, it's a good reminder, oh, this is a conversion of length, so we're doing it in 3 dimensions, right? In volume, it's just 1 dimension, but in lengths, we have to do it 3 times, right? Because it's the width, the depth, and the height, the 3 different dimensions. So I'm going to have to do this 3 times as well, right? So I'm going to write that up there so I remember to do it 3 times. Which is bigger, a centimeter or a meter? A meter's bigger. It's half a dad. 100 centimeters in a meter. Okay, now I can cancel. 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing this 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then I need 3 centimeters. 1, 2, 3. All right, and so I've got everything the way I want it, units-wise. Got 1s on the bottom, so all I have to do is I have to multiply 40 times 100 cubed. Huh. Okay, so let's just figure out how that's going to look. It's going to be 40. There's the decimal. And then I have to make it bigger by 100 to the 3rd power. That means 2 zeros to the 3rd power, so that means 6 zeros. I have to bump it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means my answer is, well, John just wrote it like this, which is fine. But it would be 40 million centimeters cubed. That also works, okay? This is fine. You don't have to write it out, but I just wanted to remind you that's the genius of the metric. It's so easy to do. Okay, so you can imagine what's coming. Here we did volume to volume. Here we did length to length. And now for our last one, you know what we're going to do. We're going to mix it up. We're going to convert 1,400 cubic meters, okay, so I remember to write it 3 times, to liters. All right, this is going from a unit of length, meters measure length, to liters, which measures volume. So we're gonna switch, right? This one was just volume, so this one was just length. Now we're gonna mix it up, and we are gonna need this adorable little unit. So I'm gonna write it up here just so we have it. 1 centimeters cubed equals 1 milliliter. You ready? I am. I'm so excited. All right. The other thing that we can do I want to add it to this. 1 centimeter cubed equals 1 milliliter. What if we want to adjust this? Here, let me do it here. 1 centimeter cubed equals 1 milliliter. What if we wanted to adjust this so that instead of 1 milliliter, it was for 1 liter? Okay, there are 1,000 milliliters in a liter, so we would have to multiply this by 1,000 as well. So if we want a formula to convert liters to centimeters, then we can multiply by 1,000. So add this to your formulas for this as well. We're going to use it in this one. Okay, that just saves us a little bit of work. That way we don't have to go. We could use this one and then adjust to liters, but we can quickly fix this formula and use it in that form. All right, so I'm going to write that up at the top of the page too. 1,000 centimeters cubed equals 1,000 milliliters, which we call a liter. All right, so the first thing that we have to do, we know we want to use one of these formulas, right? And we can see that in order to use either one of them, we have to get from meters to centimeters, right? These formulas both, these unit multipliers, both work for centimeters, not meters. So for the first one, we're going to go from meters to centimeters, all right? And then for the second one, we'll be in centimeters cubed, right? Then we're going to do, we want to be in liters, so we'll choose this version of it. If we wanted to be in milliliters, we'd do that one. Then we're going to do this thing that takes us, that says 1,000 centimeters cubed equals 1 liter, okay? This might not make sense to you yet, but let me just show you how it works. So first, we're going to jump from meters to centimeters. I want meters on the bottom, and I actually want 3 of them, don't I? Because we're converting each of these dimensions to centimeters. Oh, I'm sorry, that should be a 3. Right, I'm going to do it 3 times. So we'll have centimeters on top, also 3 times. A meter is bigger, and there are 100 centimeters in a meter. Okay, let's cross off. This is 3 times, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now I'm left with, this is actually centimeters cubed. I'm just going to write that there because I'm going to need that in just a minute. Okay, so this all cancels. That's good. Now I have centimeters cubed. It's cubed because I did it 3 times. I just didn't write them all out. Now I want to put centimeters cubed on the bottom, and I want to put liters on the top because that's what I want to end up with. This will cancel with this. I don't need to use this unit multiplier 3 times because it's already got a power of 3 built into it, okay? So before I was converting to just plain centimeters, but now I have 3 of them, and now I can do a 1-to-1. So this unit multiplier, I only use once. This is where I go from length to volume. This is the cool special multiplier that combines length and volume and allows us to crawl through the portal, right? It's very exciting to me. I'm sorry. Okay, so now let's put the numbers in. So this will cancel and this will cancel just once. We don't have to do it 3 times. 1 liter equals 1,000 centimeters cubed. Beautiful. So now we've canceled that. We're in liters. That's what we want. Hallelujah. So our final answer is 1,400 times 100 divided by, times 3, right? Because this is 3 100s. You have to be so careful with those if you use my little shortcut. And then on the bottom, 1,000. This is a perfectly lovely answer. It's correct, just like this. But now this time, John does go and multiplies it out. Again, it's super easy because we're just multiplying by powers of 100 and dividing by 1,000. It's fine. But let's write it all out. It's 1,400. Can you see? I'm trying to scooch it up so you don't have to peer at the bottom of your screen. Times 100, times 100, times 100, divided by 1,000. right? That's the same as this. And now I've got 3 zeros down here, so I'm going to cancel 3 zeros there. So let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros in my answer. So that will be equal to a 14 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. And that's the right answer. And it's liters. That is the cool thing about metric volumes, and it all comes down to the fact that they define their lengths and their volumes so that they match up. In the American or English system, they don't. A cubic foot is not equal to any of those measures of volume. We didn't plan that far ahead. But the metric system did plan ahead, and they created this beautiful little matching scenario, and that makes our lives happy. Okay, guess what? I'm done. 2 more lessons left. Yay! Goodbye.